Hello people, welcome to my channel. My name is Hilary and today I will be going over my August TBR. So for August, mainly I am participating in the Book Rose G's Magical Orillium Autumn Equinox exams. But besides that, I am also patron for Cassidy from Covers from Cassidy, and she is doing patron only readathon. So we are building our dragon and his or hers abilities in the summer from June to August. So I'm participating in that also, but I won't be going over those prompts because it's Patreon only, but most of the books I'm reading I can put somewhere for that readathon also. For the Magical Orillium readathon, I am going to link up there the spring or April exams TBR. And I did it quite well, but I'll go over a little bit about my stats and my character. So I did participate in the novice path. My background for my character is she is a wildling from Dark Meadow, and heritage is Etherean. She got picked as a Mindwalker with the weapon Dagger and legacy Feywild. And for the spring, I decided that she will be Feywild Cartographer, and I managed to do all of these exams. For the extra challenges, I also managed to do that, and by that time I had 180 points. That means that I reached the assistant level, and that means that I can count my DNFs, did not finish books. However, I don't usually DNF books, so that is besides the point, and I won't be using that one. I have to get another 20 points for me to reach 200 points. For me to reach the next level, that is revered. And that means that I can change one book to any other one I want for a free pick, one prompt. And I don't think I will be doing that because, surprisingly, cartographer autumn exams are quite decent. I don't have to do too many things. Just to read 7 books, and the prompts were quite easy, as you will see. And later I'll also mention a couple of the extra quests that G also gave out that I have already mostly picked books for. So the first exam for me is Elemental Studies, and that is start a book with a drink. And I think it's the easiest prompt. You can basically pick whatever book you want, just when you're starting the book, have some sort of drink. And for that, I picked The Machine Man by Max Berry. I am trying out my own TBR, and for that I had a cyborg hero prompt that was quite hard to find something. So this is a science fiction about a cyborg, and it's quite a short book, 185 pages, and that's all I know of this. So if you're a little bit more interested, please watch my August vlog and you'll get to know more about that book. The second exam is Animal Studies, and that is a book with animal companion. So it was quite hard to find because usually the synopsis of books don't say if a book has animal companion or not. So you have to go mostly by whatever you have read previously, or if somebody recommends you a book. However, I plan to reread a couple of Harry Potter books this year, and I thought August would be perfect. And for that, I picked the Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. This is the illustrated version in Estonian. And why did I pick it? Because I have read the first 2 in Estonian, but I don't think I have actually read any of these books from this series in Estonian, and they use different words, and it has been actually quite fun to read it. I read the second book last year, and for example, one thing that I picked up in the second book was that Tom Riddle mentioned that Hagrid was growing werewolf cubs under the bed, that everybody thought so, and that was such a weird sentence and thing. As far as we know, werewolves are bitten and not procreated as far, so it has been really fun to reread those. So I do plan to read it very slowly, maybe just 1 chapter per night, and I won't be going over in my vlog too much about it. Maybe if I find some really interesting fact that I haven't picked up previously, but that's about it. So the next exam is Astronomy, and again, it's a really, really easy prompt. It has to have a letter L in the title. So super easy. So many books have letter L in the title. For that, I picked The Hollow Places by T. Kingfisher. And I, again, don't know a lot, but I know it's one of the most enjoyed T. Kingfisher books. I did read the first book a couple of months ago, Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I want to delve more into T. Kingfisher, creepier, darker novels. And also it will be part for October, where I do want to do a vlog where I read a lot of T. Kingfisher books, and I will be pre-filming that, so I will probably mention very briefly about that in the vlog, but you'll get more detailed information in October. So the next exam is Alchemy, and for that it is a book from someone's worst books list, and honestly I can't remember anymore whose list it was, but it's somebody I think who I followed or just went through browsing, and I saw that The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Suri was on someone's list, and I actually really wanted to read it in August anyways. It was pre-planned for me previously, so I decided to pick this up. Especially since the second book, Leander's Sword, is just about to come out. So this is the Illumigrates special edition. And I already decided, since the special edition is just this, and I think the signature, it isn't even, it's just on a plate. So I decided that if I'm really liking it and keeping it, I will be buying the second book as a regular hardback. Again, I don't know a lot about this, but if I remember correctly, there was a princess and a maid, and there should be a traveling kingdom, and things are happening, and it should have desert vibes also, so perfect book to read in August. So the next subject is Demonology, and for that it is just from fantasy, so I could have my free pick of books I want to read, and for that I picked The Wicked Deep by Shea Earnshaw. Probably butchering the name, I'm really, really sorry. And as far as I remember, this should be about 3 girls. I think they were killed or done something to them, and they live under the sea, and each year they're coming out from that sea or lake, I think it's lake, and I think start killing people. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but that's as far as I remember. So again, a YA book with a dark premise, and I don't have very high hopes for that, because lately all the really dark premise, creepy YA stories have been so not dark. So we'll see and try that out. It has been on my TBR for quite some time, and I'm just trying to empty my Goodreads TBR, so we'll go for that. It isn't too long also, 320 pages, so I think it should be okay. So up to this point, each of the exams I have had just to fill out one prompt. So as I said, my subject is really, really simple to do my exams. However, for the last exam inscription, I do have to fulfill 2 prompts. But again, as you see, they won't be too hard. So the first one is a childhood favorite, and I finally decided to bite a bullet and go and reread Aragon, the Inheritance Cycle, and I will be starting with the book 1. So this is about a boy finding a dragon egg, becoming a dragon rider, and trying to save the kingdom or the land that is where he is residing. I really, really enjoyed this series when I was younger. I have read the first 2 books a lot of times, not so much the last 2 books, so it has 4 book series. But I will be really excited to reread it and see it, especially since I know it got a lot of inspiration from Wheel of Times, and I have read Wheel of Times book 1, and I saw a lot of similar plotline that Christopher Paolini got inspiration, and I think there was another series or 2 that he got inspiration, and they are maybe on my list, but I really want to see how well this holds up. The first 2 books are in Estonian, however, since the Estonian translation takes a little bit of time, and I didn't have the patience to wait for that, the last 2 books I have in English, but that means that I will be reading some Estonian language for August, which is also quite exciting. And the second prompt for the exam is reading a graphical novel, comics or manga, and for that I picked Graceling, the graphical novel by Graceling and Gareth Hinz. And I honestly love the Graceling series. I read the first 3 books that were out by that time, so I read it I think 4 or 5 years ago. And my favorite was the first 2 ones, I remember. I think the third one, Peterborough, wasn't my favorite. I didn't like the characters, but I found the world really interesting, the way their magic works. And now there has been the fourth book coming out, and the 5th book I think should be released also. So I do want to reread the previous books and the new books, and I will be also really excited about this one and seeing how this holds up also. And you will not probably see, but we have another of our co-hosts here today. This is my second cat, the older one, Jackie. So I'll leave him here to be a little Krampus. But this is it for my main exams. So the book line here is a little bit big. There are a couple of chunkers, however, their font size should be quite big. Their YA, they should be going really easily. We have, I think, 2 or 3 smaller books missing that I'm reading as ebooks or audiobooks, but it's a very manageable stack. So for next we have our quests, and those books aren't 100% certain, but there is a really high chance that I will be picking up. So I'm just going over if I have picked something out for quests or not. So first we have Amphibian Wranglers Wanted, and for that it is author name starts with F or a B. And for that I do have The Marvelous Light by Freya Marshka, if I remember correctly. I did a great book there, but I don't think I will be reading that, so that is quite up left free pick, and we'll see if I'm fulfilling that, or if I don't have time, this is my least priority to read something for that prompt. But if you have any good short books, please drop them down in the comments and I'll look them up. The next quest is called for Bounty Hunters, and that means read any book you want, but also post an IG or Twitter or some sort of social media book inspired outfit pick. And for that, I'm thinking if I'm doing anything, The Vicious Grace by Emily Teed would be really easy because I have a yellow dress with some flowers on it, and that would look really simple to do. Maybe I'm doing something else, maybe not, I don't know, but this is a strong contender for that. I honestly have no idea what this book is about. It says 3 weddings, 3 funerals, 1 more chance to save them all. It's another fairy loot book, and again, it gives me just such summer vibes that if I'm reading anything at all, I'll probably pick this up if I have time. So next quest is Courier Needed, and it says book with movie adaptation, and for that I am going Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. So it was really easy pick. I could technically thought maybe I'd put Aragon on this one, but I think I can add this for the quest because I wasn't certain whether I'm starting the Harry Potter book 1 in August or in July. So all of those books in this series would have fitted really well for that prompt. So next is Discrete Help Needed, and the prompt is shrubbery, or basically plants on the cover, and for that I picked Twisted Ones by T. Kingfisher. It's another book for my reading blog. Again, I have no idea what it is about, I just know it's a dark, creepy story. Next quest is Guild Event Preparations, and that is a body read, and I think the Late Night Discard, I'll put it here, the correct name, is reading Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher, so it fitted that one, it fitted my video vlog, it's a short book, it's really popular right now, so I'm just going to go and read that one for that, and I can also get my body read off my list. So next quest is Paid Animal Therapy, and for that it has to be more than 1 animal on the cover or in the title. And for that, again, this is like not a priority book for me, but it is Cathedral of Bones by A.J. Steger. It's a middle grade book that has been on my Goodreads TBR for a long time, about a year or two, and it was the first book I found that is short enough and also had a lot of different animals on it. Other than that, I have no idea what it is about, but I'm excited to find out. Next is Study Buddy Required, and that is a prompt for morally gray character, and for that I picked Six of Crows by Lee Bardugo. So I have read the Shadow and Bones trilogy, and I haven't just picked this one up yet, but as far as I know, if there is YA book with morally grey characters, this is recommended. But again, it's not a very high priority book on my August TBR, but if I manage, I'm gonna read it. It has, again, a really big font. I think this is the most loved series of the Krishaverse, so it should be going quite easy, and it's just 2-book duology, so maybe I can read the second one in September or something like that. So we have 2 more quests, and one is EAHPS Volunteers Needed, and that is historical fiction book, and I'm not 100% sure if that counts as historical fiction, but I picked The Clockwork Girl by Anna Mazzola, and this is a beautiful Waterstone edition. This is historical fantasy, so I think it should cover that one. And this is about the 1750s, where a lot of children disappeared in actual life, also in Paris. And this is a magical interpretation of the events, but as far as I know, nothing is actually known where those children disappeared actually during that time. So it's an interesting book to read, and maybe later go and scour the internet for actual historical event details and seeing how much is known about that. And the last quest is the AWW Needs You, and that is to read a book about undead characters. And for that I picked The Righteous by Renée. It's the 3rd book in the Beautiful series, and it's a mess. I really loved book 1, The Beautiful. It had such a good New Orleans vibes. The main characters, some of them are vampires, some of them are something else. I don't want to spoil. And it was a really nice, decent, good YA fantasy book. I really love the New Orleans vibes and food descriptions and all of that in a couple of books. However, the second book was an absolute mess. It had a very strong second book syndrome. Basically nothing happened. They went on a quest to retrieve something or something similar I read a couple of years ago, and then in the middle of the questing decided that we're gonna just get back, and basically the quest was pointless. And then the last 20% of the book, like 10 different things happened, which made no sense. People were in one place, and the next scene they were in completely different place doing absolutely different thing. All the characters were basically doing things so out of character for them. And I was, at some point, I was reading it as an ebook, and I was questioning whether I have a broken, wrong version of the book, because it made no sense, because at that time people I were following absolutely loved the second book and were reading about it, and I was questioning if I am reading some wrong book. And now I want to see where the 3rd book goes. So I think it was first a trilogy, and it got extended and extended and extended. Now I think it's a 4 or 5 book series, so that might also be the problem. And I'm also really interested to see whether the 3rd book gets back to the vibes the first book had, or it will be another mess. So I'm thinking about doing a separate vlog for reading that book, because it's a book series I really have started to hate. And I think it would be fun to see it. Probably will be spoiler filled. But for the extras, for my physical, already you can see the TBR pile is getting bigger. So as you can see, I don't have very specific, and I can change these books out however my August is going, but we'll see. So my August TBR looks something like that, which is slightly terrifying, especially considering that I have 3 or 4 Kingfisher books additionally to here, and some other books that aren't very, well, they aren't very chunky, but they're decent length. So always is looking slightly frightening. However, most of these books aren't mandatory, at least the second half that I went through, and I can always change out and I don't have to fulfill all the quests. But yes, I'm really excited about the magical Orillium. I am really excited about the bookmarks that I ordered and should be arriving soon, and I'll show you them in my vlog. But this is about it for this video. So if you have any good recommendations for some of the quest prompts that are short books, or maybe you're really excited to hear about some books on my TBR, let me know down in the comments. I would love to hear from you. But other than that, I'll see you soon, and hope magical Orillium will be a good exam time for us all. Bye!